Welcome to WAMD, the We Are Motor Driven podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to WAMD, the We Are Motor Driven podcast. Today I am with Jennifer Jensen, Harvey Briggs, and my colleague Brendan Appel.
And that voice is Paul Harold. He forgot to
Paul
introduce
Harold,
himself.
yes. And today we're going to talk about something that's very near and dear to Paul Harold's heart, and that is movies about cars and the cars themselves. And my question is to the group is, why is Ronin the best car chase ever done?
See, no,
And-
it's not.
And let's take it from there.
Oh boy!
So
You
many
really,
people talk about Ronin, and it's
yeah.
good. It's just not the best.
Okay,
I don't
and
think.
why is that, Jennifer? Why is Ronin not the best car chase
I don't
ever
know.
recorded on film?
I don't know. There's so many other really, really good ones. So
No, and I admit that there are many, many good ones as well.
yeah, and then you got to think about like real car chases versus CGI car chases where they
Right.
add crap in and all that sort of
Correct.
stuff. So
Yeah, and I think
Let's focus in on not so much the CGI stuff. Let's focus in.
well,
more on
obviously, because those are
movies that
real
were-
car chases.
Yeah, movies that were
Yeah.
very practical effects.
And I'm going to jump in with this one because nobody's going to agree with me. And I'm not saying it's the best car thing ever, but the movie that came out, it's called Need for Speed.
Oh yeah.
okay.
I actually like this movie.
Okay. I actually love this movie.
Nobody else does. With you and I are the only ones.
Aaron
Jennifer.
Paul, right? From, the drug show.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking
Bad.
Bad. Thank you. Aaron Paul. And it's just a thin plot, but
Aren't they all?
a lot of holes in it. But the thing that was really impressive to me when that movie came out was their goal was to not CGI things. They used fake cars, but they really raced them and they really crashed them and all sorts of stuff. So I don't know. I just, for some reason, that movie, I can put it on once a month and watch it and not be bored.
The coolest thing about that movie was the Mustang that was featured in the movie that they drove.
Yeah.
Had the coolest tech inside, including all of the head-up stuff. They basically
Yep.
had the mirrors or cameras, and they were in the windshield. That's what I actually want in my car.
For sure.
So, from that point of view, great movie for that. Of course, I mean, I'm going to get to it before any of you guys do. The best car chase scene ever filmed, Rambo style, because they didn't get permits for it, was Bullet.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost like when Playboy ranked party schools and they took University of Wisconsin off the list because they were professional and everyone else was down here. I mean, Bullet it's the best. You just have to say it. It was really cool a couple of years ago when they launched the latest version of the Bullet Mustang. They had the original Bullet movie car there. They had found it and they had it at the thing. And then they had the stunt coordinator who did the car chase talk to us about.
Oh,
the
really?
chase.
Like at a press
Yeah.
launch?
Yeah, it was super
That's
cool.
pretty cool. How many did they only use one car in there?
There were 3
Okay.
Bullet Mustangs.
Okay. I was gonna say,
in the movie. there
That's
were 3.
impressive. If there was
But,
just one car.
and mainly because they had to rig it differently for some of the effects. So, like one car had some reinforcing underneath it and some rails coming off the side so they can put cameras on it and things
Right.
like that.
I'll throw in another one that a lot of people disagree with me on, but Nicolas Cage, Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the thing that captures my attention every single, and again, they didn't want to do CGI when they jumped the thing on the bridge. That's apparently the only
very end.
CGI shot. But the really cool thing is when he steals Eleanor, the '67 Shelby GT500, and Brendan's wearing a GT500 hat. Good job.
You're welcome.
He steals it, takes off, and they show his feet shifting a bunch of times. And then he's about to hit a garbage truck and he slams on the brakes. That's the first time he touches the brakes, in the whole chase. And I just think that's so freaking cool. Like, just showing those different angles and different aspects. Like, what is it about a car chase that makes it good?
I was going to ask you that question before we even really get into the car chases that we like to see. But what is it about car chases that we love to see? Like, why are they memorable? Why are we sitting here on a podcast talking about car chases of all things, right?
Well, everybody
What?
loves them.
But why?
Yeah.
You know, like
Look at out in Los Angeles, right? Every time there's an O.J. Simpson type thing, you know,
Yeah.
there's helicopters up
Immediately
there.
helicopters. It goes
like
live.
5
It's on all the
helicopters.
news
Yes,
stations.
and
Yep.
everybody's tuned in to watch the car chase.
Yeah.
I've gone on TikTok a few times, and you watch one, and then it starts feeding you all of them,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and all of the police car chases.
Oh, yeah.
because now there's cameras in all the police cars, and there's body cams in all the police officers. So like you can
Yeah.
get that first person point of view of the chase. What is it?
Yeah,
Why?
I wish we had a psychologist on here to tell us what it is about car chases that just it absolutely enthralls us
I
to
think part of
want
it
to watch.
is because we, as drivers, we can relate to what's going on. I think
Mhm.
that's part of it. But I was watching that scene in Bullet to kind of get ready for the show, and the amount of understeer
Oh
on
yeah.
these cars is just
Well, that's the,
68 Charger
unbelievable.
understeers? What?
yeah, that's the
Unbelievable.
beauty of those 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s car chases that they're doing with crap cars like Caprices and
Oh,
LTDs.
The amount of
and,
body roll. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just
and it's so- and-
unbelievable.
it's so much fun to watch those things because they're practical, and those stunt drivers are unbelievably talented. When we would do the car commercials, we had to hire stunt drivers.
Sure.
And these guys could slide a car to a stop and put the car 6 inches from the camera. I mean, it was just unbelievable how good
Like
they
Tanner
were.
Faust.
Yeah.
Tanner did all the driving in what was it, Baby or Baby Driver?
Right.
And some other stuff, but the man is just insane. And yeah, these guys can unbelievably drive, and some really great women too. But Harvey, what do you think it is that makes a good car chase?
Well, for me, first of all, the thing is you have to really be pulling for the person behind the wheel of the car, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
You
for
want
sure.
them to succeed. I think that's one. And then some of the fun things, like if I think of a movie like Duel, I don't know if you've seen
Yep.
this. It's an old it was Steven Spielberg's first movie,
Yeah.
and it's basically a car chase.
Yep.
Between a semi truck
Semi truck. Yep.
and who was it? Dennis. What was his name?
Is it Dennis Hopper?
No, I forget, but the star of the movie. Anyway, he was being chased by this mysterious truck driver, and you don't know who, and you don't really know why, but it just kept building and building and building. I thought that was there's just you really start
It's Dennis Weaver.
Dennis Weaver.
Yeah,
There you go. Yeah, you start seeing the vehicles as characters almost too.
Ooh, vehicles as characters we will get into because
Yeah.
the second part of this podcast is going to be all about movie and cars.
But I think
characters.
I think differences in terrain and environment. You have city car chases like Bullet and that go into the country. You have cross country car chases like Vanishing Point.
Yes.
That's an old one.
Oh,
And,
great movie.
yeah, there are just so many interesting. The variety that you can put into those, I think, is really big.
One of the things that Brendan mentioned before on the Bullet not having permits, the French Connection was like that as well. From what I understand, they got a permit to like race in like 5 blocks worth, but they immediately like left that area and just kept going. And so like,
I have no idea what that's like, exceeding your authority for using, let's say, a racetrack.
yeah. So like the look on people's faces is like genuine, like when these cars go by, because I had no idea that they were going to be filming this movie in those areas. So that is just actually unbelievable, and probably something that you could never do today.
No.
No.
And that's, the reviewgeek.com has the French Connection as the number one car chase scene in all movies. It's there are movies that I go back to and there's one in particular that he almost I would say, what is it? Maybe like 80% of the movie is a car chase, and it's the whole point of the movie, and it's one of my favorites. It's Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, what just a great, hilarious movie. And it's as you said before, it's the rooting for somebody, right? And everyone's
Right.
rooting for the bandit to get away from the county mountie, the Texas, bubblegum ball machine. That just everything about that movie was when I used to take road trips with my dad in the 80s and I was riding, shotgun, reading the maps, telling him where to go. We had a CB. Like everything about that movie was like so relatable and getting, not necessarily running from the cops, but, having to worry about the cops and things like that. It was, I still watch it. I watch it like at least every year. And it always still puts a smile on my face. It's just the funniest, one of the best car chase movies ever.
What's
Yeah,
interesting about, if I can jump in,
Oh yeah.
on Smokey and the Bandit is, Bandit's whole job is to pull the cops away from the semi truck, right?
Yes.
Because they're trying to ship beer. So that
They're
whole
trying to, yeah, they're
whole concept,
smuggling
yeah.
Coors.
that whole concept, of course, the whole thing about like even in Need for Speed, there's, they've got, it's almost like a Cannonball Run
Right.
because they've got, helicopter and airplane, and they've got a fuel truck, and they actually do on the road fueling, which I would love to try.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing that draws us into car chases is like, I could do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Like you're watching, and especially the ones you see like out in Los Angeles, you're like, why did this idiot do that? Like you should have just gone over here and you cut this way, and then you would have got away.
Because they
Right?
didn't have a permit to go there. No.
Right, exactly.
In LA, it's almost impossible to film anywhere without a permit.
Well, and then you look at like the Matrix Reloaded, right? The Matrix #2,
Yes.
when they have the Ducati chase with the Cadillac. I think it was what did they CTS, right? Is that what it was called back then?
Yeah, I think it was.
And they actually like built a section of highway.
They built a,
That's
I
all
think it was
real.
like a
Like, they-
3-mile loop.
did that.
They actually, I think it was like some hundreds of millions of dollars, something like that, or $40 million or something. So it was some ridiculous amount.
And that's
But-
something I really appreciate. Harvey mentioned, okay, you want to root for who's behind the wheel. The environment is really important. So to and to have it real, right? Like this
Yeah.
could really happen, and not create situations where, as soon as there's something totally unrealistic, and I know that it's unrealistic, you lose me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny because then there are the total opposite of that, like the Blues Brothers, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You're never gonna
super
lose anybody in the
ridiculous,
Blues Brothers.
over the top. Nobody, the whole thing through the mall.
The mall.
It's all
The mall.
ridiculous and
Or
but hilarious at the same
104
time.
miles an hour on Lower Wacker Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anyone,
But that is
we're all,
something that you mean if you could actually do, not that you would want to, but
Right.
but yeah, so you can kind of relate. But who doesn't want to go smashing a car through a mall? Come on.
well, Paul and I are from Chicago, and so that movie is almost that and Ferris Bueller's Day Off are the two
Oh, yeah, for sure.
required films that you must watch as a Chicagoan. And if you run into somebody in this city and you ask them about those movies and they say they haven't watched them, your immediate opinion of them goes down into the toilet because it's
You
like
need to
who-
leave the city.
yeah, leave. Just
Yeah.
go. But the greatest thing about the Blues Brothers, besides, so yeah, you start off essentially with a car chase, and it's the thing that gets me about that movie, besides all the cars that they wrecked and how hilarious it was and what a great movie it was, is it delivers one of the best lines to start a car chase that has ever been uttered in all of cinema, which is it's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got half a pack of cigarettes, a full tank of gas. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hit it.
Just the best line ever given on film
Yeah,
to start
I
a car
actually
chase.
saw that movie the weekend it was released in the theater.
Shut the
and-
front door.
Oh yeah, my buddies and I think I was 19. We had taken a road trip from where I was to Detroit to go see the Tigers play, and we saw the movie was out. And we're like, oh crap, we have to go see the Blues Brothers. And it changed how we drove the rest of the trip.
I love when the movie does that.
At the time, it was the most car crashes ever
Yes.
filmed on
Recorded on
cinema
film.
at the time. Yeah.
Probably
So-
still is. What
No,
what
actually, I
surpassed
think
that?
they beat it with Blues Brothers 2. That was like their goal to beat it. So
Wait,
It
there's a
didn't
Blues
make
Brothers
it a better
too?
movie.
yeah, it was.
Just forget that it was ever made, though.
You'll forget that it was ever made. But
Okay,
it
so
was-
Blues
it does-
Brothers is the most cars smashed ever because there is no
Okay,
two.
so the one movie though that I will always watch when it comes on TV, car chase movie, is the second Mad Max movie, The
Oh, yeah.
Road Warrior.
Okay,
If
Oh,
that's
good.
on, done.
you're in.
I'm
Yep.
in. The
Okay.
But
whole
also,
way.
also Fury Road, the more recent one, is great. Has a great, car
Yeah,
chase.
but nothing beats the Jensen Interceptor. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, just because it's called a Jensen.
I know.
There you go.
And it's an interceptor.
Yeah.
no
You
bias
know,
there.
going
Yeah.
back to the unrealistic things, like you guys remember the Rock with Sean Connery,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
right? And Nicolas Cage again, the
Yep.
other Nick Cage movie. He's driving a 355 through San Francisco, chasing, excuse me, Sean Connery in a Hummer.
Right.
And the Hummer is fast. It's like
Oh,
like there's that movie with again Nick Cage. I don't know why Nick's on my mind tonight, probably because of Gone in 6 Seconds, but John Travolta and Nick Cage. Face Off, yes. And there's a part at the beginning where Nick gets out of this Cadillac and his coat goes up, and John Woo directed that film, and oh my gosh, it's visually stunning. But he gets onto a plane and they're taxiing down again, like a Fast and Furious movie, one of the longest runways on God's green earth, long enough for a Hummer to chase them and like spin out and then chase them again and catch up. It's like, well, I don't remember what the 0 to 60 time of an original like Humvee is, but it's like 16
12
seconds.
Yeah,
I think
like it's at
16
least 12.
seconds.
It's
You know,
not fast.
Come on.
It's
And
not
there's a-
catching an airplane fast.
not catching an airplane or not getting away from a 355 GTB. Like, come on,
No.
And those things take me out in the moment. I don't think that happens for most people, but us car people, does
Right.
that take you guys out like in the moment if you're like,
Yes,
there's no
it-
way a
it-
Hummer could do that?
It's the unrealistic things that always do kind of stick in my craw. One of you guys in the audience might be thinking, well, what about the Fast and the Furious? Okay, well, the first maybe one or two was good. Okay, but the thing that always bothered me about it is how many gears do these cars possibly have? I mean, they're shifting 17 speed, transmission. It's like and then the talk about it, like the double clutching. I'm like, well, you don't have synchros? I mean, all those cars. Nobody's double clutching their transmission. So it's just kind of like throwing terms around and doing things for the sake of doing them, and that kind of does bother you while you're watching it, which makes the more realistic chase scenes the ones that really you remember and you gravitate to and you like.
Well, they're always trying to outdo each other. Like in the
Right.
first one, well, now the second movie's got to have a more intense scene, and in the third one, to the point where now you're flipping upside down and doing stuff that just isn't absolutely impossible to do.
Right. And if it's supposed to be a serious movie with a serious car chase scene and something pops up that's just impossible, it's like, what?
For sure.
It ruins it for me too.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm not alone. That makes me feel better.
Uh,
Do you guys
but-
remember No Man's Land with Charlie Sheen and DB Sweeney?
No,
No, wow, you went to the well on that one.
What?
that's one I'm going to have
Okay.
to write down.
No
Write
Man's
down.
Land. Charlie Sheen owns a chop shop, and they steal Porsches. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and he saw a Ferrari and he goes, Italian junk.
No, he says Italian trash.
Trash. That's it. Trash.
But there's a really good like coming down the mountains, in LA, where DB Sweeney's kind of showing Charlie Sheen that he's a good driver, right? And it's just good because it's like authentic. And if you've ever driven in the mountains out around LA, which I know Harvey has,
Yeah.
I have,
I
think
have.
Brendan
Yeah,
has,
yeah.
Paul. Yeah, okay. So you're like, yep, I've done that,
Yeah, sometime I'll tell you about my time with the Z06
Oh,
On
up
the
in
San Angeles
Malibu.
Crest.
Yeah,
The Malibu. I've
yeah,
always, if I was going to live in California, I'd want to live up on Malibu just to do the run between the ocean
yeah,
and I forget what highway it is on the other side, but that mountain run is just so
yeah,
much good driving.
yeah, but everybody knows it, so now it's always blocked up. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
stupid
yeah.
people.
That's why I stay away from Angeles Crest. It's
Yes,
always too busy.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's always on fire too. It's if you want to go on the east side of it. So we've talked a lot about the movie cars.
Well, hang on, one more
Oh,
that I
one more.
wanted to
no,
talk
Okay, sorry, I didn't
about.
want to
we're
cut you
not
off there,
done
Harvey.
yet. We're
No,
not done yet.
you mentioned slow cars in a car chase. One of the best car chases ever was with a bunch of small, slow cars.
The Italian job.
Italian Job. If you haven't
Yes.
seen the Italian
The
Job, you
original.
have
The
to.
original.
The original with original minis in
Yep.
it. It's such
Oh,
a great
so
scene.
good. And what's so fun, and that's the thing about the locations you were talking about earlier, the cities and the Italian Job is one of them. San Francisco is just ubiquitous because of the hills and you can jump cars all over the place, but Italian Job was the same way. And then you have just the Smokey and the Bandit with like the bridge being out and things like that. So, but yeah, Italian Job is
Yeah.
definitely on the
One
top.
thing I want to bring to attention is just a more recent one is James Bond, No Time to Die. It was filmed in Italy. What I found was fascinating was because it's all that cobblestone, it's
Mhm.
really slick, and they couldn't get the cars to like hold on because they were just sliding all over the place. So they
Mhm.
got the idea to actually pour 8,400 gallons of soda all over the streets
To make
and let it
sticky?
dry up, and it made it super sticky. And then they were able to do like all these incredible scenes. And I just love that movie for that. And also, who doesn't love when he like locks up the front wheels, turns on the machine guns, and just starts doing 360s and
Uh-huh.
just blowing everything up? Who doesn't want to like do that?
Machine gun.
We all
donut
want to do
360.
that.
Yeah, we want to do that.
Yes, we all want to
When we're
do
in
that.
stuck in traffic or something, who doesn't
Oh,
want to do
gosh.
that?
So,
Well, James
Bad
Bond,
Boys.
I think.
Go ahead.
Oh,
James
I was just going to say James Bond in general is a genre of movies that,
Yep.
for the most part, always has a pretty good car chase in it
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
or
the only-
boat chase.
The
Or
only one that I was
submarine chase.
really disappointed
Yeah.
was Spectre. Okay, because here they
Mhm.
have. I mean, it's not that the car scene was bad. It's just you have like this custom-made one-of-one Aston Martin DB10. Okay,
Yep.
then you have like this Jaguar with
did
a
nothing with.
CX-75, and they didn't do anything with them. They
Yeah.
just kind of drove around a little bit, and I was like, "Come on!"
Yeah.
It was so disappointing.
It's like spy work and car chases should go hand in hand, right? Or
They have to.
again, boat
They
chases
have
or
to.
submarine chases.
Yep.
That Lotus and I forget which one it was, but the one that they or you space shuttle chases or didn't
Why
they
not?
chasing each other in Moonraker?
Yeah.
So yeah, there's always a chase scene in those movies, and a lot of them end up with really cool cars. And that's the other thing is that the cars themselves have to get your attention. So we
Yes.
all love cars, so that's I think one thing that gravitates you to car chase scenes is they don't drive like a '86 Nissan Cressida or Toyota Cressida or Nissan
Yeah.
Sentra. It's always something interesting and fun and exciting. And that is part of the attraction. And so some of my favorite cars, besides the aforementioned ones, you have to give it on the TV side to where I kind of like grew up on was watching on CBS. I think it was Friday nights at 8 o'clock, Dukes of Hazzard. You had an entire TV series dedicated to car chases.
Right.
Unrealistic car chases.
Totally unrealistic. Don't jump
Oh,
your
come
car.
on. Somebody just jumped General Lee.
I know.
Like,
Every
big
time they do
video.
it, now I cry.
yeah, and it almost broke in half.
That's what happens when you jump a car. Don't do that.
I wonder how many
I always
cars
cry
they-
because I'm like, you could put a landing ramp down, and that car would be fine. But no, we can't do
How many
that.
cars did they destroy over the course
Over
of the
300.
seasons?
Over
Yeah.
300
Wow.
cars. And if you guys want to, if anyone is in the Nashville area, there's a Cooter's Garage there.
Cooter's
which-
Garage. Yep.
Yeah, go do it. It's really cool. It's really fun. If you're ever at in Hollywood and you do the Warner Brothers tour, you can actually tour the downtown area that was used as the set. Seasons 2 forward, season 1 was actually filmed on location in Georgia, or it was somewhere around Georgia. But man, just that generally was, I just remember I had one of those big wheels when I was a kid, and it was a Generally. That's how young I started this process.
Nice.
I think another great TV car, because it was as big a character in the show as the star, who was at the time as big as they get, was the gold Firebird in the Rockford Files. That car was really, I thought, important to the show, and it was pretty cool. The interesting thing about that car is they trimmed it out at like a low trim level, but underneath it was basically a Trans Am. So
very nice.
And they did a new one every season except the last season, 79, because Garner hated the new front end on the 79 car. So he kept the 78 in the show.
Yeah.
Good call.
No,
Good call.
it was a good call. The 79 front end of the Trans Am was a step backwards. But you know what else used a Trans Am not long after that as a great character in a car show? The Knight Industries 2000.
2000. Yes, Knight Rider.
Yeah, which brings us to George Barris, the most incredible car builder for TV and all that. He did the Batmobile. He did so many different vehicles. He did work on Knight Rider. I know, unbelievable. And actually did the cars for one of the most bizarre car movies ever, Death Race 2000.
Oh, okay. I actually understood that reference. Yes, that was a bizarre car movie.
1975, I think it was.
Such a crazy
David Carradine,
movie.
Sylvester Stallone was in it
I've not
before
seen
Rocky.
that.
Oh,
no, I have not seen it. I heard of it. I've never seen it.
All the cars were VW chassis with these just really bizarre
body kits. Essentially. Yeah. So a quick story about the Knight Industries 2000, the Knight Rider kit. My dad, and this is probably like 1990. I don't think I was driving yet, 89, 90. He liked to go to car auctions. And one of them was up in Lake Geneva, actually, I think. And we go to this auction. He had a car in mind he wanted. It was a 1988 or 89 Eagle Premier that was going to buy his family a car a sedan, right? And so we get up there, and it brings me with, of course, and we're walking around at this auction, and first thing I see is a De Matasso Pantera, and I'm like, oh, what about this? It's got 2 seats, Brendan. What are you talking about? I'm like, but it's so cool. And then the next thing I see is a kitted out Knight Rider car, like with all the switches, it was an exact replica. And I'm like, I spent the next 45 minutes straight trying to talk him into buying this instead of the family sedan, and I was not successful. And all he kept saying is that all those switches are going to break. Whatever they do, they're just not. They either don't do anything, which is probably what they did do.
Were you disappointed, Brendan?
I was very
that the switches didn't actually do anything.
They wouldn't let me play with all of them. I could see them. I could actually, they had the doors open, but they wouldn't let me touch any of the switches. But yes, it's disappointing when movie cars are actually for movies and not for real. But yeah.
Well, so Brendan, you made a interesting comment there. Your dad said it's 2 seats. Do you remember in Cannonball Run, Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin have a Ferrari 308, and they're at the bar before the Cannonball Run starts, and he's like, "I got the car." And Dean Martin slaps him, and he says, "You remember our car? Smack. 2 seats. Smack. Where's he going to sit?" Because he's talking about Jesus riding. Jesus is my co-pilot.
Right,
remember our car? It's 2 seats. Where's he going to sit? Smacks him. I love that line. It's just so fun.
That's a great car movie too.
And speaking of switches, probably the most switches ever placed into a movie car has to be the DeLorean for Back to the Future. Yes. So and arguably one of the most iconic vehicles for a movie ever filmed, because they literally brought that company that was bankrupt back to life. I mean, not that DeLorean sold any other cars, but just everybody started talking about DeLorean again.
Yep.
Yeah, it took a car that was actually a piece of crap, although a very nice polished turd of a crap.
Yes.
But they brought it and just gave it a whole new life, and it's been riding that ever since. And but fine by me. I've seen these things up close. They had one here in where I live. Someone brought it to a car show, a full on Mr. Fusion, Back to the Future 2.
Nice. Flux capacitor and all, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hoverboard inside, everything. I mean,
Nice.
this guy went all out. And it's just so awesome to see. If you ever go to Universal Studios in Orlando, there's one there, or at least there used to be a couple years ago that they park outside and you can take pictures with it. It's just it's so awesome to see that it's such a part of our culture. All of these movie cars, all of these they're really characters, as Harvey said before. You know, the car becomes a character. In fact, not always. It can't always be the best character. 'Cause I remember there was a time in the Dukes of Hazzard history where they thought Warner Brothers thought the car was the character, and they tried to replace Bo and Luke with Coy and Vance. It didn't work out so well. And that was all about money.
Yeah.
And
But
toy
they, do,
revenue.
but they do become characters. You're right.
Yes.
I want to go back to something Paul said earlier because it reminds me of another movie. You were talking about your James Bond with the 360 machine gun shots.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if there are particular clips of movies that just make you like the movie, not because the whole thing's a car chase, but because there's like part of a car chase. So Bad Boys 2, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Will Smith is now in a Ferrari 575 Maranello.
Yes.
And Martin Lawrence is sitting passenger and he's like, shoot them because they're like chase these bad guys. And he drops his gun and, then Will Smith winds up like pulling up in front of this whole group of crashed cars and he does a, big donut and starts shooting out. He goes, and now you show him your badge, and he backs up and all the cop cars come out. It's such an iconic scene. Now that movie does have an incredible car chase that comes right after that. Again, like in The Matrix Reloaded, this is all real and filmed on a real highway with real cars, and they're like throwing boats at cars. It's just like, and those are the ones that really grab my attention. So that one sort of, and Bad Boys 1 had the 911 Turbo, chasing a Cobra at the end, and the opening scene is them driving and Martin Lawrence drops a French fry. Will Smith pulls over and he's like, get it. I can't get it. My hand doesn't go down up in there, he says, and then somebody tries to carjack them. But like that car was so important to the character, Will Smith's character, right? Because he's got a trust fund because his parents are wealthy, but they're gone. But he's a cop, but that car set him up as this character, and which brings us to Miami Vice.
Yes. It's the same Miami Vice.
Testarossa.
The Ferrari Testarossa.
Well, we started with a Daytona Spider.
That's right.
Right,
Daytona
which was
Spider.
fake.
And that car, yes, it was, but that car got blown up. And I remember when that episode came out, my heart like literally fell out of my butt. I was like, what are you doing?
Do you know why they blew it up?
Because it was fake. And Ferrari
Because
was suing
Ferrari-
them
Yes.
because
Yep.
they were using non-real Ferraris. And they're like, we'll give you a real car. So then, yes, they had the Testarossa. Did you know that Liam Neeson had a guest starring role in Miami Vice, like a million other people, and actually had that Testarossa, but it was black. And then like
Oh, I
three or four
remember seeing
episodes,
it,
3 or 4
yeah.
episodes later, Don Johnson goes into his captain and he's like, part of my cover is this.
Yeah.
And he's driving some like old pickup truck, like a classic pickup truck. He goes, I can't show up to multi-million-dollar drug deals like Lil Abner. And Al Castillo, which is his boss, his commanding officer, whatever, says to him is, it's out back. And so Don Johnson kind of looks at him and he just kind of looks back. He walks outside and there's this nice panning shot over a now white Testarossa.
Yes.
And he gets in and he's like, 385 horsepower V12, like revs it up. Yeah. But
Yeah, by today's standards, a bit low,
no.
but yeah.
I still want one, but
Still
whatever.
take it.
Yeah. But so the car helps the character development,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
I've done some script writing, and when you're developing the character, apparel, what they're wearing, how they is just as important as how they move and how they speak. and what they drive. If it's somebody like that, those are both cop shows, going after drug dealers and all that sort of thing. So I'm curious, like you talked about the DeLorean, that's not part of who Marty McFly is, right? It's part of who Doc is.
It's part of who Doc is, and
Yeah.
it shows the technology.
Exactly. So like using those cars to help develop the character Bullet,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of times they're cop shows. I
And
guess.
like you said, when your heart skips a beat is, and Brendan mentioned this movie earlier in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, right?
Oh.
When they destroy the $18 million Ferrari GT250 California Spider. I mean, come on, who didn't like sit up in the theater and say, "Oh my God"?
And I felt the same way, not as strongly as that because they didn't. I think they did fully destroy the car. But do you remember the GTX in Tommy Boy? Because when
yes.
you said that, when you mentioned the French fry,
Yeah.
the scene where he's got the peanut M&Ms on the dash and he turns and they just all roll right into the HVAC
Vents.
system. He's like, oh, that really ups the resale value. And then he takes the door off when he's backing it up because he left it open at the gas station.
What
and
did you do?
what did you do?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there are certain cars where you're like, you get attached to the car or you just love that car. And I just happen to be a Mopar guy, so I love that GTX that he had. And I was like, oh, this thing is so cool. It's so cheery. And then they just destroy it and your heart kind of just breaks a little bit for that.
Yeah,
And
the
it's-
one movie car that got destroyed that made me cry was the Jaguar E-Type hearse in Harold and Maude when it goes off the cliff at the end of the movie.
Oh,
That's such a sad moment.
Very sad, very sad moment.
let's pour one
It's
out.
a great movie too. If
But
you
in
haven't
a
seen
lot
it,
of TV shows and a lot of movies too, when the car lands upside down and you realize like it's just a hollow shell, like they'll cut away real quick, but you kind of
Yeah.
notice it.
The GT500 in Gone in 60 Seconds, when that gets crushed at the
Oh.
end, that actually made me sad because that was a character.
How about
that
John
movie.
Wick's car?
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Come on. Don't
The
even go there.
Mustang.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
I know.
Half the time
You
in these
stole John Wick's
movies,
car.
I like the cars more than the actors. maybe that's a me thing, but
The best part about John Wick is that what
All of
sets
it?
him off, well, all of it.
all of it.
Oh,
But
love that movie.
the cardinal sin were the two things that I really love, which is you killed his dog and you stole his Mustang, right?
Yeah.
You stole his classic car and you killed his dog, and now you will pay the price.
Everybody will pay the price.
Yeah, and
and
You
anybody who
effed
comes
around.
in between.
Yep.
everybody finds out.
Society's getting bad when you're watching a movie or TV show and they kill a bunch of people. You're like, but then they kill a cat or a dog and you're like, this shit's off.
Yeah, no, that's terrible. You crashed the car, forget it.
Done.
That's right.
Would you
There's
mind
a
telling
kid-
me why you slapped my son?
Right,
Or you beat up my son? And he goes, because he took John Wick's car and
Killed
killed
his
his
dog.
dog. And the guy goes, oh.
Oh.
Oh,
There's a great cartoon I just saw, and it's Darth Vader and Admiral Tarkin standing on the Death Star looking down at Alderaan, and someone calls up and goes, sir, John Wick's dog was on Alderaan. And he's like, oh.
we're getting off topic here.
Yeah, we're getting
Yeah,
off
we're
topic.
totally off
But
topic. That's
one of the
hilarious.
other super iconic vehicles, I have to say, is the Dark Knight Rises version of Batman, which is the Tumbler.
Let's talk about the Tumbler.
Now, how cool is that thing? Come on.
It's awesome. However, let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
We've said for years, most automotive journalists preach this, right? Tires are important.
Oh, yeah.
Tires are the most important part of your vehicle, right? That's your contact. Tires are
Let's put 'em
super
right in
important.
front.
It was pouring down
Honestly.
pouring down rain today when I was on my way here, and I was in the Ranger Raptor, and hydroplaning's not a thing in there. I found out, which is pretty cool. Tires are important. So
Mm-hmm.
in the Tumbler, what is the frontmost piece of that vehicle?
Tire.
2 tires. They're huge,
tires.
and they're
They're
probably Kevlar tires. But when he drives through the concrete barriers with tires, Like, I don't think those would last.
Jennifer, don't ruin it for me. Come on.
There's such a
Yeah,
thing
you
as
gotta-
suspension
That's
of
what I'm
disbelief.
saying.
Yeah, yes, you have to suspend your.
It took me out of
Willful
the
suspension.
it took me out of the movie, and I'm a Batman nut, but it took me out of the movie because I was like, well, the tires, what?
I actually bought a car because of its role in a TV show.
Shut up.
I
Was it John
bought
Voight's Chrysler LeBaron?
John Voight's LeBaron? Yeah, no, I bought a 1967 Volvo 1800
Yeah.
because I
Saint.
loved the Saint
Yeah.
when I was a kid. And when I
Yes.
saw a white Volvo 1800 on the streets, I bought it because the Saint, 100%.
The original Saint.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you're not alone, Harvey, because not only have people bought cars like that, they've created cars. They've created kits. They've created the DeLorean. They've created the car from Smokey and the Bandit.
Sure.
So when I buy my Smokey and the Bandit car and I buy my '69 Charger and dress it up like a General Lee, I will be in the same boat as you.
Yeah,
Because
there
I
you go.
want both of those vehicles for that reason, and I'll take a DeLorean on top of it, but I don't have to have the DeLorean. I have to have the other two.
Paul, just so you know, a couple of people have built tumblers too, so you could get one of those.
Yeah.
That was the
I
great thing
actually-
about the Tumbler is that it's I know they built it for the movie, but the whole backstory that this was made for jumping
Right,
over
yep.
the river, and it all made we were like, I buy that. I totally buy
Yeah,
that. This
for
could be
sure.
a total real vehicle, and then it would be something that Batman would actually. It would explain how he gets the car. It
Yeah.
fit perfectly in the movie. Sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
Does it come in black?
Oh, no, I was going to say about the Blues Brothers. I met a guy who actually built one.
Yes.
And he was telling me that, he did a lot of research and that there was no cars left after the movie, not a single one. They destroyed them all. So
Really?
he had to find a Dodge Monaco, and I think he found it wasn't 1974. He found like a 75 or something, and they just had changed the front end a little bit. So he actually went to a junkyard, found the 74, changed the front end of it back to what it looked like in the movie, and then he said he watched the movie probably 400 times, getting at every angle of the car, every dent, every crease, everything that he could possibly find, and basically recreated the entire car. And he brought it to a car show once, and it was a big hit. Everybody loved it. And in fact, he even has the big speaker on top. He made a replica of that too. So
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, there's people out there that do these replicas, and they're just become like obsessed with it, where they're like right out of the movie, So it's incredible how these movie legacies just live on through car enthusiasts as well.
Yeah, that is interesting. GT500 from Gone in 60 Seconds again, and Shelby
Yeah.
sued different people making them, and then there was finally just one that was licensed to do it. The actual Eleanor, from the movie, but people trying to make money off of somebody else's stuff. Weird, but cool.
That actually went to court,
Yep.
and the last I heard is a court ruled that you can build them all you want.
Yes, you can. That was the last ruling. There were other rulings before that they were then overturned.
They got overturned.
Now
So
you can do
have
whatever you
at
want.
your Eleanor, and I totally would take one of those.
Is that
Such a
because they're no
gorgeous
longer
car.
producing the vehicle, so you're allowed to do it now, or like what was the?
It was the actual style of the car and the name, and they were trying to basically get the IP rights for it so that they could be the sole producer of the replicas. And so now anybody can make it. It's basically open IP. Anybody
Yep.
can go and recreate the car, just like anybody can go recreate a General Lee or
Sure.
Yeah.
and
Well, there's
no one's
one company out there that's going to put everything they can to block you from doing that.
Yeah.
And Jennifer would know that company, right, Jennifer?
Not because I've had experience with that.
No,
but
not
yes.
because you know
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
Or Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ferrari will sue you even if you like dye your car pink or something, right? So
Yeah, just wrap it. Then
Do something weird and get it all over the internet, and you might get a
Yeah.
letter from Italy.
you might get a letter. Yes.
All right, so let's put a stake in the ground. What is everyone's favorite movie car chase?
See, that's so hard. It really
Well,
is.
Yeah, it is because there's so many good ones, and even if you don't like maybe the entire chase, but there's so many good parts to the chase that just, it makes it really hard to decide. But I will go back to what I said when we first came on. Probably my favorite overall is Ronin. Just love the way it was shot, the fact that they're sort of regular cars, and the fact that it's all done practically. There's no CGI. And it was I just thought it was intense and cool. And I just every time I see it, I just love it.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to go back to Bullet. It's just I don't even think I've watched the entire movie, but I've seen that scene in its entirety about 50 times or more. That's how good it is. And I want to give a second, honorable mention because it's not really a chase scene, but Rendezvous.
I was gonna bring up Rendezvous.
Yeah, it could, no one's chasing him, but he's just taking
Right.
this, ride through
Which
Paris.
leads me to another question. I think Paris is probably the city used in most car chases scenes
Eh,
when you put them all together. You think or no? You think
I
there's
think
something else?
LA,
LA.
probably.
LA. Okay.
LA for sure.
But-
yeah, like Terminator,
Yeah, Terminator
there's so many things out there.
I can't believe that truck would only do 85 miles an hour. That
Right?
was
I know.
that was the part of that chase scene that actually stuck with me the most. Like, really? That thing only goes 85?
Vehicle has reached its maximum speed.
And we haven't even touched on like the transporter yet.
Yeah.
Or Mission Impossible #7, which had some crazy stuff in it that was super
Oh, yeah.
fun.
That was
when
that
when
was
you're
great.
driving downstairs and
We
I-
could, this conversation could go on forever.
that's why I can't
Even
put
the
a stake in it.
Bourne movies, the Bourne Identity and stuff. They
Yeah.
had
Right.
some incredible car chase
Yes,
scenes
they
too.
do.
Well, and we could, if we're talking, about not just car chases, but things like F1,
Yeah.
and the scenes in the new movie and the
Great movie.
technology they used to get those. It's
Talladega
pretty incredible.
Nights. Ricky Bobby, come on. There's some good car stuff in there.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
I just it's so hard to put it in. Has there ever been a car chase? This is a question for you. Ever been a car chase that you loved the environment so much that you actually sought out where the car chase was?
Blues Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys
I've
get
done that.
the Chicago people. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, on the Bullet Drive, we drove the locations.
Nice.
Oh, that
San
is
Francisco.
awesome.
So we got out, took pictures of the car in some of those iconic locations.
That is a
pretty
media
cool.
team doing its job right
Yeah,
there.
it is.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is. I hope
yeah.
they all got bonuses for that. Paul,
Yeah. And
you?
and that car was a really good iteration of
Oh
a
yeah,
Mustang.
for sure.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
100%.
I not really anything comes to mind. Just I think wasn't there some car chase around the Colosseum in Rome?
Always.
Was
Of
that
course
in-
there was.
Okay,
Italian
there's,
Job?
if the movie doesn't come to mind, I'm sure there was. Anyway, I always am intrigued on the roads around the Colosseum. Just
Okay.
kind of like a road to nowhere kind of thing. So
Did you
it's-
ever do England and look, kids, Big Ben?
Yeah,
Parliament.
yeah, that's
I can't get left.
The end of
or around the Arc of Triumph in Paris.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
another one. Yeah. So
the end of the Need for Speed, this whole chase or race, excuse me, ends at a lighthouse,
Right.
and Michael Keaton's up in the lighthouse and all this stuff. But the roads that they're on and the way they filmed that just captured my imagination so well that I was like, where was this? And I was able to track down like the whole route. And I haven't driven it, but I need to go like actually experience it. That's I think the only movie that ever did that, but it sticks out in my mind because it made me do that. Like the environment was so engrossing that I really just wanted to know where is this so I could go do
Sounds
it.
like Jennifer's inviting us all on a road trip.
Yes,
Sounds good to me.
1000%.
I'm in.
Rolls Royce Wraith. Or no, Spectre. Rolls Royce
Spectre.
Spectre, right? Because we're
Or
going to
the
do a podcast
podcast.
in the Spectre, coming
right.
back to the
Yes,
EV episode
yes.
we just had, and we'll drive it across the country, and then we'll end up there. That'll be great.
There
'Cause
you
it's in
go.
another
California.
car I totally forgot about that you reminded me is the Wraith.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
It was a Dodge Turbo. What do they call it?
I forget the name of that thing, but it was
yeah.
definitely a Dodge. Was it-
Interceptor Turbo. Turbo
it was
Interceptor.
Interceptor Turbo,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was a cool looking car.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen, right? In
Yeah.
there?
Yep.
That's a crazy movie.
All right,
Hey,
Harvey.
did Jennifer and Harvey? Did you guys list your favorite movies yet?
My favorite chase scene.
Yeah,
Movie?
chasing.
I'm putting Bullet up as number one because it is, like I said, it just that's the best one. But the one I love to watch because you can always see something different in it is the Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
There's so much in that. It's just a blast.
And unlike Bullet, which again I've never seen all the way through, Blues Brothers is from start to finish such a great movie.
Yeah.
Just
So
such a
many
great
good
movie.
scenes, so many good musicians.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have Miss Piggy? I think that was the line before the crash in the mall in the Blues Brothers.
Now I'm gonna have to go watch it again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it
All
for
right.
probably 4 or 5
Worth
years.
every minute.
All right, Jennifer, what's your favorite chase scene?
I can't.
Pick one. Come on.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay, great.
There
It's
you
a great
go.
movie.
There you go. So, listeners, now it's your turn. What's your favorite car chase scene, and what's the movie car or TV car that you would most want to put in your garage?
Oh crap. Good luck with that one, listeners.
Yeah, that's a list that's as long as my arm
Yes.
for me.
That's a long arm. Harvey's not a small person.
No, he's a big guy.
There you go. Look at that arm.
That's right. Well, here we are at the end. I think we should thank our listeners for sticking with us all the way to the end. If you could all do us a favor and just subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, let your friends know about it. We are here every week just doing this, talking about really cool stuff. And then check us out online at wearemotordriven.com, and you'll find all the stuff that we work on, not just this podcast, but all sorts of cool car stuff. So for all of the crew here, Jennifer, Paul, Harvey, and myself, we'll catch you next time here on We Are Motor Driven.